Today I'm spilling the tea on a topic I know that many of you are interested in, and this is salaries at Tier 1 consulting firm like McKinsey, BCG or Bain. So welcome to another coffee break here on my channel Firm Learning. My name is Heinrich, and as you know, on my channel I want to help you to become successful in the first years of your career. And part of that is for sure also understanding what the salaries are that you could potentially be earning over the first years of your career, and I want to help you with that with this video. And specifically I will address this in the following way. So we'll start with providing some general remarks and qualifications that are just important to understand the numbers better that I will now share with you in a moment. And then I will go over some key roles, key positions in the career track in a Tier 1 consulting firm. This is going to be the business analyst role, the associate role, the project lead role and the partner role. And I will discuss for each of these roles what your salary expectations can be if you work in such a Tier 1 firm. So let's indeed start with these qualifications. And what's indeed important to me here is that, of course, in this video I will now not share specific numbers of any specific consulting firm. So you know that I had a past at McKinsey, but I will now not specifically talk about McKinsey, but also consider friends working at companies like Boston Consulting or Bain and take all their experiences to provide you here a rough overview of how these consulting expectations in Tier 1 firms look like. Next important point is that salaries differ significantly country by country, region by region. The salaries in Germany might be significantly different from the salaries in, let's say, Spain or also UK or the US. So have this in mind. In this video I will specifically focus on the situation in Germany because I know that this is a region that many of you are familiar with, and I trust that this will be informative for people in other regions as well. But do your research for your region. And if you're wondering, well, how shall I do this? How shall I find this information for my country? I created a course on salary negotiations together with a good friend of mine who's also a former consultant. I will link this course below in the video description, and there's also a full module on the topic of salary research, so trust that this will contain some interesting insights. Last but not least, I will now talk about base salaries. So the base salaries that you will pretty much get fixed independent of your performance. On top of that, most firms have also a bonus that they offer to you. And this is usually up to 20% or so. So if you're rated in the highest performance category, this is what you can expect. Of course, most people will not get the highest rating. And so at a performance rating, which is about average or slightly above average, you can expect to get a bonus, which will roughly be 10% of your base salary. So this is what you should then add on top to the numbers that I will mention to you. And then of course, if you look at the full compensation package, most firms also offer something like a company car that you will get even as a junior consultant. And then there are other benefits like insurances or additional travel allowances that will be provided to you and which you should add on top of this base salary that we will be discussing right now. So let's get into it and discuss the individual roles in detail. And while I will now also provide a little characterization of the roles, if you have really no idea how this works, what the roles and responsibilities of these different positions exactly are, I created a full video on that. It was called How a Career in Consulting Looks Like, and I will link it somewhere above here. So check this out if this is all new to you and you really want to understand a bit better how the whole career path in consulting looks like. So the first role I want to talk about is the business analyst role. And how exactly these roles are called changes a bit firm by firm. They all have their own terminology, but in the end it's all the same, right? And the business analyst role is the role that you will have fresh out of university. If you leave university with a bachelor or master degree, you just start out in consulting, this is the role that you will have. Of course, in this role you will usually crunch the numbers, conduct interviews with clients, create slide decks. So this is really the role where you learn the ropes of the trade. And for this role in a country like Germany, you can expect a salary of roughly 70,000 euro per year for a master level graduate, which is of course a very decent starting salary for a new graduate. You will have this business analyst role for about 2 years, and after 2 years most of these Tier 1 firms offer something which is very unique, and this is the so-called leave program. And here again, how exactly it's called differs a bit company by company, but what essentially it boils down to is that the company will give you the opportunity to leave work again and to spend some time to conduct a PhD or an MBA, or often also social leave year if you want to volunteer for a social organization. And this time, which usually takes 2 to 3 years, will be heavily subsidized by your employer. So for instance, if you do an MBA, the company usually will sponsor a significant portion of the tuition of your MBA, and they will pay you money money on top, often also up to a full salary, just to cover your living expenses in this time. And here, even within the tier 1 firms, there can be significant differences in how exactly this program is set up, how attractive it is. And what I learned now from talking to other friends, probably the McKinsey one is arguably the most attractive, then followed by the Boston Consulting, followed by the Bain. And here also what I want you to understand is that many of these smaller tier 2 firms offer programs like this as well. But then if you look into them, often they're not as attractive, or maybe they are saying, yes, you can do that. But then in the end, it turns out that only if you're ranked as one of the top performers, you will really be offered to do this. And then the big majority of consultants in the end will not have this opportunity. So I'd argue that this is really something that on top of the regular salary differences really sets apart these tier 1 firms from these other firms, and you really should take this into account when you compare the total compensation package in the first years of your time in consulting, because the value of the compensation package that you get in this leave program can easily be in the 6 digits. So really have a look at this closely before you ask yourself what company you want to join after all. Then after the leave, usually you enter an associate type of position. This is also the position that you will directly be able to join if you join consulting with an MBA or with a PhD. In terms of the contents of your job, this is pretty much just an extension of what you were doing as a business analyst, with the only difference that now more is expected from you. So you will be now expected to lead larger parts of the project. You will be expected now to do things standalone with very little guidance from your project lead. Just the workload, the expectations, the responsibilities you have will just increase, will expand compared to these other roles. And as an associate, you can expect to earn around 110,000 euro in Germany, again with differences company by company. So this is indeed a significant salary increase to the role that you had earlier. Then this associate role is again something that you will often do for about 2 years or so, and then you advance in the project lead role. This is now the role where you will be responsible for consulting teams working on the ground at the client. A typical consulting team is the project lead plus 1 to 4 consultants, so total team of 2 to 5 consultants. And then on top, of course, you also have the junior partners, senior partners who come on top, will provide some guidance and join you occasionally. So as a project lead, you can expect to earn 140 to 150,000 euro base salary every year. And then at the project lead level, with many firms also the bonuses start to increase. So maybe you might have the potential to earning up to 30% or even more bonus on top of your base salary instead of maybe only 20, which was rather the norm for the lower levels. So this is now the first level where also the compensation will vary more significantly based on your performance that you will bring to the table in your job. Then after the project lead role, most firms distinguish different levels of partner roles. So often it starts with a junior partner level, which you will have for another 2 years or so. Until then you can get elected partner of the firm. This is now this real full partner role, which is often the aspiration of many people then still want to continue their career in consulting. And then after 4 to 5 years or so in your partner role, you can become a senior partner, which is then in terms of job title, the highest level that you can reach. So when we discuss the salaries of these different partner levels, here it's important to understand that these salary structures are getting much more complex. So besides the base salary, often there is a component which is linked to the performance of the company overall. So how good is the company doing overall that you're working for? This will affect your salary, and then also your performance element. So the bonus that you will get paid on top of that, this will now play an increasingly important role of your overall compensation. But that being said, as a junior partner, you can then expect to earn something about 200 to 250,000 euro. And then once you're really getting elected a full partner, this will usually be above 300,000 euro in salary. This salary will then increase over time, again heavily also influenced by your performance. Once you're a senior partner, this can then be rather around 600 to 800,000 euro. And indeed, the best earning, best performing senior partners can earn in the millions, so will earn several million euro every year. Of course, while these figures sound very high, it's also important to understand that it's not necessarily easy to become partner. There's this whole concept and idea of the up or out principle. If you've never heard about that, I will link also a video above here that I did on this topic. So in a nutshell, people will get filtered out, many people will get asked to leave the firm at some point in their career. Only the very best, of course, will have the opportunity to become partner and then earn salaries in these dimensions. So now I'd be interested to hear from you. Is this surprising to you? Does this meet your experiences and expectations? Do you think these salaries are extremely high or maybe not even that high if you consider all the work that goes into such a career? Let me know your views in the comments, and as you know, I will do my very best to answer every single comment that you write. So if you took any value out of this video at all, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and also subscribe to the channel, and especially also turn on the notification bell to stay up to date on all my content. If you want to see even more from me, also follow me on my Instagram. My handle is From Learning. And now, as always, I also want to say thank you to all the members of the channel. You're really making a difference, a big contribution to the work, to the cause of this channel. And if you are interested in becoming a member as well, just click on the join button next to the subscribe button to see how you can support and also earn some member-only perks. To all the rest of you, thank you for watching until the very end. I'm releasing new videos every single Saturday, and especially also next Saturday I have a very interesting video planned for you, so stay tuned. Good weekend to all of you. Talk to you next Saturday. This is Heini from Learning. Bye bye.